Okay, so in today's video, I just want to go over the first of all, one of the commandments from the Bible. This is one of the 10 commandments that the Most High God gave to Moses on the mountain in Sinai when he released the children of Israel from Egypt. So this is a very important commandment because it is regarding uh, your parents, your father and mother. So Exodus 20:12 says, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee." These commands were never meant to be legalistic, but to draw us closer to God. To honor your father and mother specifically means to prize highly, care for, show respect for, and obey authority in our lives. When we are young, we rely on our parents for food, care, and comfort. As we grow, the natural rebellion in us pushes against their authority, but still we often learn to listen as they keep us safe from dangerous situations, crossing the street, touching the stove, and provide basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter for us. So I'm sharing this to share that in the family court process that has basically divided our family and has really basically undermined my authority and undermined my ability to parent you guys as your father. Um, I just want to go ahead and show how this is being systemically done through the family court system and help educate you guys on really what my experience has been in the 8 years that I participated in the family court process with Jaden, with Natasha, Jaden's mother, and why I refused to do so with Brienne in our divorce. And unfortunately, since I have not participated in that process, we have become more distant. It is very unfortunate, but I'm going to watch this video from this individual who does a great job of explaining how this is by design in the family court system to divide families, to remove fathers from homes, and to keep everything separated and uplifting mothers over fathers as if um, I had no significance in your life as well. I provided food, I provided care, I provided comfort, I changed diapers, I fed you, I took you to daycare, I picked you up from daycare. I did all of those things while paying for those things and while doing that, going to court, and you had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. But let's watch this video, and after that, I'll be reviewing just a couple emails from both of your mothers that just go into some of the particular circumstances that made it very difficult for me to be equally in your lives. So I hope this is another video that will help us heal and help us overcome and come back together. So let's get into this right here.
A common argument that you'll often hear feminists make is that fathers are awarded custody of the children well over 90% of the time when they seek it. They even go so far as to argue it's proof that not only is there no bias against fathers in family court, but one that in fact favors them. They'll further state that the only reason most mothers get custody is because fathers don't want it and don't pursue it, usually followed by a claim it's because they don't care about their children, which again is pure fallacy. Is any of that in fact true? The answer is no, not even remotely. Multiple reputable studies show that the courts overwhelmingly favor mothers in custody decisions, awarding them sole or primary physical custody in approximately 80 to 85% of cases where custody is contested. This has been shown time and again in states across the country, and it disproves the feminist claims outright. But it goes even further than that, which we'll address momentarily. First, however, I want to take a moment and address a reality which needs to be brought up in the context of any discussion of custody. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that not only is awarding mothers primary or sole custody by default unfair to fathers, but it is also highly detrimental to children. Children which, as countless studies have shown, would benefit most from having two actively involved parents. Research from the American Psychological Association, among others, highlights that children with involved fathers experience better academic outcomes, stronger social relationships, less drug and alcohol abuse, lower instances of teen pregnancy, and fewer behavioral problems as a whole compared to those with limited paternal involvement. To sum it up, the failure to view fathers as parents as vital to the health and well-being of their children isn't just affecting the parties involved, it's affecting society as a whole. As I mentioned earlier, the statistic that feminists love to use to misrepresent the reality is that fathers receive custody or visitation in 90% of the cases where they request it. The key point, though, that they fail to bring up is how do you define custody? Something that, when accounted for, paints a very, very different picture. This misrepresentation is something they adhere to as gospel and cite all the time, primarily to dismiss concerns about custody bias and perpetuate the outdated gender norms that they claim to be fighting against. That 90% figure is misleading because, as I said, it doesn't reflect what kind of custody fathers are getting when they fight, just that they get some sort of custody. Feminists, when they make that claim, want you to believe that fathers are getting primary or sole custody in those cases. In reality, however, it's that fathers, more often than not, are being awarded joint custody, which again is a nebulous term at best. It does not equate to equal parenting time or even decision-making authority. In fact, if anything, it limits both. In most cases,
Now that's exactly what happened to me in the case with Jaden. I was awarded joint physical custody after almost 2 years in family court, and we went all the way to trial. I'll be sharing that information as well. And the cool thing is Brienne was just my fiance at the time, and she participated in that process. And so, as I stated in my previous videos, that it's really sad for for her to go and try to put us through the same process again when it obviously didn't work in the circumstance with Jaden. Now Jaden is, still confused, and I'll just leave it at that. But let's continue to list. We're all three of you are confused.
courts grant mothers primary physical custody, designating the fathers as visitors who have limited influence over their children's daily lives. For example,
So that was why Jaden used to come on the weekends, and she, when you guys were little, it used to be like, oh, well, how come we never seen Sissy's room? Where does Sissy live? We don't even know where she lives. And that was what that whole situation was behind the scenes, is because I only had her every other weekend. And, for certain holidays, I had her for her birthday every other year. That's why I have more birthday videos for her than I have for you guys, is because that was just part of the whole parenting plan fiasco.
a father who is granted joint custody usually will only have the child every other weekend and perhaps one night a week for dinner. This is known as the standard order, and it's been the de facto court order put in place for most cases for almost 50 years now. Interestingly, there is absolutely no scientific or legal basis to support this paradigm, nor, to my knowledge, has it ever been codified into law. It was simply created by a few judges many years ago and subsequently has become the norm. It is, in reality, nothing more than an offshoot of the tender years doctrine. This standard order results in the children spending roughly 15% of their time with dad, while mom gets them 85% of the time. Additionally, while in theory joint custody gives fathers a say in their child's education and the medical decisions, the reality is it is the mother who retains primary control of the children's residence, education, and healthcare decisions. In fact, in some states, she only has to inform the father of her decision to fulfill her obligation under the joint custody order.
This is another reason why I didn't participate in this process. This is why I referenced the vaccines in previous videos that I made. And this is exactly why I've referenced like I got kicked out of your guys' school. I'm gonna show you why that was, because Brienne went and had a parenting plan put in place where they granted her a parenting plan without serving me or presenting any information to me, and they signed off on that in court. And that's what blocked me from seeing you guys going to school when you were back in elementary school. I'm going to show you that email as well, just to clarify some of these things that I've been kind of talking about throughout these my other previous videos that you asked me to take down. But I made those videos like 2 years ago, and I made those videos directly to your mothers. The reason why I put them on YouTube is because they never watched them. So, consequently, I said, you know what? Let me just put these out here on YouTube so that maybe you guys will run across them. And you did. So I'm just going to continue making videos just to tell the truth, because it's just been an awful experience for me as a father and a man. And the situation of our family right now is it's really sad. It's really sad. So let me move on.
Arrangements often leave fathers feeling marginalized, with no real input into their children's lives, despite being labeled as joint custodians. Add to it that denial of visitation is very common with mothers who face little to no accountability for doing so, while literally millions of fathers have been put in debtor's prison for being unable to meet their child support obligations. Again, I challenge you to not believe what I'm saying, but to go and ask a divorced dad if he's ever had issues with seeing his children. You'll find that if you do, almost every single one of them has dealt with it at one time or another. And go a step further. Ask any reputable divorce attorney how often mothers get sanctioned, sent to prison, or face any repercussions whatsoever for their violations of court orders. Again, you'll find it's very rare indeed that any do. To sum it up, while feminists want you to believe fathers will be granted custody if they seek it, which is partially true, they also want you to believe that fathers are being given sole or primary custody, which the facts have shown to be complete fiction. Which leads us to our next point. What are the actual barriers that fathers face when it comes to seeking custody? And why don't they pursue it more often?
So I'm gonna save this segment for my next video, but I'm gonna go ahead and pause it, and I'm gonna move into the emails and information that I have that matches what he said. So the first thing that I'm gonna show is where I had to file a contempt motion against Natasha, because in our parenting plan where she had the 85% and I had the 15%, I had Jaden on the weekends and I could see her Wednesday at daycare. And Natasha refused to drop her off at daycare so I could see her on the Wednesdays, as if that was like too much time to spend with her. And then you wonder why there's all this, why you feel so comfortable like dismissing me, like, because I've been treated like I'm just a visitor, and this is all systemic. But I'm gonna go show you that next. Okay, so here is an email that I sent to my attorney. This is again why in that video I said, the video where I was frustrated and I was saying like, when Brienne was saying, I'll get a lawyer. This is where I was saying like, well, why should I be afraid of that? I paid over $50,000 to this attorney right here, Andrew Benjamin, just to be able to have when I had a relationship with my daughter, with Jaden. So and this is when you guys were just little, but you guys didn't know anything that was going on behind the scenes. So look, this is from March 16th, 2010. So I said, "Hi, Andrew. How are you doing? It's been a while since we talked. I'm sending you this message in request of a favor. Natasha refuses to drop our daughter off at daycare on Wednesdays, as it is ordered in the parenting plan. I'm taking action and I'm going to file a contempt motion on my own since I'm not in a position to obtain your services at this time. I couldn't afford to pay for him at $300 an hour. Can you please take a look at my motion for completeness and accuracy? I plan on filing this with the court tomorrow or by Friday at the latest. On another note, the wife and I are doing really well, and we're expecting another child in September. See, this is when before Tyree was born. Yep, that will be a three-peat for me. I plan on doing a child support modification as soon as the new child is born, so I will definitely need to obtain your services with that. At this particular time, I was paying $1,300 per month just for Jaden's child support. That's what I paid her mother, $1,300 a month. Um, Up to this time, which was more than our rent in our apartment at the time. So I will definitely need to obtain your services with that. I hope all is well with you, and I'm always thankful for your help and support. And now let's take a look at this. So this is specifically for Jaden. Jaden, if you go on any family court docket online, or if you go to the Everett Family Court, if you give them this number right here, you will get all of the history of everything that your mother and I have been through in the family court. And I was just simply trying to have a relationship with you. And we went through a whole custody battle because we didn't know each other that well, and your mother was involved in some drug use, and I was trying to go ahead and get custody of you because I felt like you would have been in a better situation growing up in my house versus your mother's house. And I was right, because look at where we are today. But I'll save those details for another time. But so look this number up. But here is the motion that I filed in Superior Court. This is what I learned how to represent myself in court. So these are the things that I have been through in the background for just trying to have a relationship with my daughter, Jaden. And Natasha did everything that she could possibly to keep me from seeing Jaden on a regular basis. So here we go. Failure to comply with the parenting plan as follows. Natasha refuses to drop Jaden off at daycare on Wednesdays as it is ordered in our parenting plan. Natasha has violated this order since the parenting plan went into effect on November 18th, 2008. In the month of March of 2010, Natasha has refused to drop Jaden off on 3/3/2010 and 3/9/2010. I've repeatedly asked Natasha to follow the schedule in the parenting plan, but she repeatedly refuses to do so. Please see attached sign-in sheet from our daughter's daycare facility from March 2010. I don't have that there. But this was already 2 years. 2 years into, after already going to court for 2 years, this was still ongoing. And this is why your mom doesn't really want you to talk about me. I know that it's not even comfortable to bring me up. That's why she says that I'm crazy and I'm bipolar and I'm schizophrenic. And this is all just to deter the facts that she has, from day one, made it difficult for me to have a relationship with my daughter, for because she didn't grow up with her father. This is the same thing that your grandmother did to her with your grandfather, who you probably never met, meaning Natasha's father. But I'll pause here for a moment. Okay, now fast forward to 2017. This is exactly why I refuse to cooperate and participate in this process with Brienne after she filed for divorce in 2015. We're on year 10 of this divorce process, and look at our family. Like, now you guys don't even want to talk to me at all. You blocked my phone number, or blocked and changed the number that I had to contact you on, which I'm going to show you that was already premeditated as well. I'm going to show you another email. I'll do that in another video. I'm going to kind of piece this all together. But because now you guys are older, I can explain to you in a better, for you to better understand what's really been going on here. Back in these days, you guys were just too young to really even understand. You're just little kids. But now you're all teenagers. Jaden to be an adult this year. So this is why I said I would start dealing with you guys when you turn 18, become adults, where you can make decisions on your own without your parents or your mother's interference. Now, that's why I also in the beginning of this showed you the commandment of honoring your father and mother, which is a commandment from the Lord. What you should do, I'm telling you, you should honor your mother, but you should honor your father as well. Honor both of your parents. Now, when you guys are adults, now you can make decisions on your own. That doesn't mean just to disregard your parents, as I showed you in the beginning of the video. You should still have a reverence and still understand that I'm your father. I made you, and I only want the best for all three of you. And anything that I do is in your best interest for what I know in my 51 years of life and living in the earth. So, um, I've never wanted but the best for all of you. And unfortunately, dysfunctional family matters and this family court nonsense has really, separated and divided us all. And again, my aim is to heal. So I said, "Hi, Brianna. I will not be in contact with anyone until the foolish restraining order you put in place is dismissed. This will be my only communication on this matter. I'm confident that all three of my children love me as I love them. They are the fruit of my loins. Tell them the real reason why they don't see their father. Your restraining order is why. Using our children as a weapon for a war I will never fight is foolish and complete waste of all our time." Look, we're 10 years later. Same goes for Natasha as well. "I no longer entertain foolishness because I choose not to. Kindly, a father being treated like his children are prisoners of their mother's wrath, a fight I will no longer entertain." Let me pause. Okay, here was your mother's response. She said, "There's no restraining order in place, just a parenting plan." Now, see what I showed you in the video from the man and what he said about the parenting plans, and then I showed you what happens, that the mothers always try to do something that interfere with the schedule, and so that you end up not seeing the children anyway. What did I show you? That I had to file a contempt motion against Natasha because she wouldn't even drop Jaden off at daycare on Wednesdays, as if that was extra day was too much time for me to spend with our daughter when I only seen her 3 days in the week. And I used to only be able to come see you guys at school because that was the only time I could come see you without interference or without having to follow some parenting plan or someone talking to me about court and all this other ridiculous crap that they wouldn't do to a woman. If I had this in place, they wouldn't do that. They'd be like, "Oh, sorry, that's a civil matter. You need to take that up in court." But you got this abuse of power, with this feminism, and this is what this women's. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense, and it's evil. So there's no restraining order in place, just a parenting plan in place, which states you can't go to their school. If you read it, you would know. Your children miss you and want to see you. If my children miss me and want to see me, why would you go and put something in to the parenting plan and give it to the school so I couldn't go see them? Isn't that a contradiction? If you would like to sit down and talk, we can work something out. You have my number. You can call me or email me. It is your loss not seeing your boys and your daughter. You're missing out more than you know. So my response to that was, until that's removed, please don't bother contacting me. I will not respond from here. And then she's it's your son's birthday tomorrow. One sec. Okay. And then I'll just kind of finish up here. In this email exchange, which was about a month after, it said, "It's sad that you are a liar. You lied to our children about smoking cigarettes. Why? That's a problem. Lying about everything is a problem." And that's why I said you're just a liar. And my previous video that I made in 2022. I mean, all this is all linked together. "I will make sure all three of my children see and read the court documents that are on record for our family issues documented in the court." So that's that number that I showed you in that contempt motion that I filed back in 2010. We're talking 15 years ago. And then we can all be free from this curse. The truth will set us free. Tell Tyree the reason why he no longer sees or talks to his father is because you, his mother, blocked me via family court and your parenting plan from seeing him at school. How foolish is that? God forbid there's an emergency concerning any of my children at school. I'm not notified, nor can I come to their aid. That's sad. So if something happened to you guys when in elementary school after this was done, I'm gonna show up at the school and they're gonna threaten to arrest me like they did the day that I came to the school and they showed me this parenting plan thing or whatever they showed me, and they threatened to call the police on me. Do you know how that made me feel as a man and a father for total strangers? I didn't even know these people to threaten to call the police on me while they imprison my own children against me. Oh, it's ridiculous. And I said, not to mention you and that sucker snake beetlehead punk Sean Gandy making an attempt on my life. This guy pulled a gun on me at Taster's Walk because of all the bullcrap that Brienne was saying, this false allegations of abusing her or whatever. Just lies. Stay away from me and do not contact me anymore until I can attend the kids' school. Until then, I will protect myself by any means necessary. I will be sharing all communication correspondence with my children when they are old enough to understand the truth concerning our family matters. This is why I'm making this video. I have all the documentation. Until then, do not contact me. And then she says, I hope you get the help you need. I will not contact your sorry ass anymore. See, I need help. I'm crazy. I'm I, I should be crazy that I go to see my kids at school and I gotta have some stranger, some white women come and tell me that they're gonna call the police on me for trying to come see my kids at school because their mother gave them some parenting plan that I never received, that some judge just signed off on in court. It's just ridiculous. Like, come on. Like, if you go back to 2010 and you see what I was already going through with Natasha with the parenting plan, why would I entertain another parenting plan situation here with Brienne and this divorce? So that was why this has been my whole reason up to this point now that we're 10 years later. 10 years. I've just wasted time. And then she says, and with your daughter, you still have the same parenting plan. So why don't you see her? Well, why? I showed another email. Natasha decided that, oh, we'll see what a judge has to say about that and our children. This is what, this is just another, just email. I mean, just another video to show you like this has been a pattern for years that I will no longer deal with, and I don't deal with it anymore. So that's why I don't participate in it. But I love you guys. I hope all is well. I hope you learn a little more and get a little more insight into the real problems in our family matters here. And hopefully I'll see you soon. I'll close out from there.